Marvel's Spider-Man was released back in 2018 by Insomniac Games, and it was here that we were introduced to Miles Morales, a Latino biracial teenager from Brooklyn who had acquired Spider-Man-like powers. He went on to appear in a standalone game, which was Spider-Man Miles Morales, and became a dual protagonist alongside Peter Parker's Spider-Man in the latest installment, Spider-Man 2, which was released last month. Now, the interchange of gameplay between Peter and Miles reinforced the idea that Miles Morales was indeed a Spider-Man, if not the Spider-Man in his own right. Indeed, in the epilogue, I must warn you, this is a spoiler. We are left with the cliffhanger that Miles Morales may be stepping into the role as the next Spider-Man. Now, this was confirmed during a media interview in Gizmodo, where he spoke to Insomniac narrative director Ben Arfman and advance writer Brittany Morris, where they then said, when they were asked about the game's ending and who will be the main Spider-Man from now on, Arfman and Morris confirmed Miles will take centre stage as Peter takes a back seat for the time being at least. So they're not going to get rid of Peter entirely. He's not being completely supplanted by Miles Morales. He goes on to say, to me, it shows a great deal of evolution from Miles. At the beginning of the game, we see him struggling to figure out what he wants to do with his life. And by the end, we had Miles carrying the burden of saving the city and also carrying Pete when Pete wasn't strong enough to carry himself at various points. By the end, Miles is more confident and he's like, yeah, I've got this. I think, and he goes on to say, I think pretty early on, we knew that we wanted to have that moment of handing over the reins, Arfman said, and we developed it as we started to lay down more track leading up to that moment. It just felt more and more right. In fact, I had a look at a website called Black Dolls Matter, and they had something rather interesting to say about black superheroes and black representation, particularly for young people, for young black people, which I thought was quite poignant. I mean, there's quite a lot here, so I did take one or two snippets out. It says here that, in conclusion, the emergence of black and multi-ethnic superheroes and action figures represents a crucial step towards a more inclusive and diverse society by providing representation and celebrating cultural diversity. These characters empower individuals, challenge stereotypes, and inspire social change. Black and multi-ethnic superheroes are essential to shaping a more equitable and empathetic world for future generations, so we must continue to nurture and support them. So I thought that was quite a relevant point to make. Now, this has upset certain quarters who feel that Peter Parker and other fictional characters in TV and movies have been somehow usurped by the woke movement, which challenges social injustice based on race, gender, or sex. Looking at platform X, which was formerly known as Twitter, I mean there are a few comments. You see, and this chap here says, for the racist folk, this is Spider-Man. Below we've got a cartoon here from the comics where it says, together they can stop everything. And it says here, look at what's happening. We need to stop it. Which is obviously they're voicing their opinion on Miles being the next Spider-Man. I mean, this chap comments that yeah, we need a black Spider-Man, um, but I think he's given a more stereotypical view where he should be dressed in a hoodie and Jordans, which is probably not ideal, as all black people don't wear Jordans or hoodies. Uh, I don't know whether this is for or against. It could be both. Here's a comment. Oh my God! Stop with this revisionist history. Spider-Man was never a mantle. Y'all just want a black Spider-Man to be taken seriously so bad instead of actually supporting original black characters. Right. So one of the main arguments for maintaining the ethnicity of a character is that they were originally created in that skin, and therefore, to stay true to their origins, they should remain so. Um, there is a counter argument, which would be that the protagonists were created during a less enlightened time where the zeitgeist of the day was endemic racism, and therefore it was no surprise that we get the heroes that we do. Now, given that we live in a more egalitarian world, we are now free to reshape those heroes to better reflect the diversity that we have today. It's important to have role models as long as those role models are not automatons or they're just not reskins of the same character. And here's where Miles Morales is different. Miles Morales isn't simply a reskin of Spider-Man. He is Spider-Man in his own right. And for those who argue that this is a departure from canon, it's actually not. According to the Marvel Ultimate Universe, Peter Parker is actually killed off, and Miles from parallel world Earth 1610B steps in to fill the void. So he's not a black version of Peter Parker. No, he's Miles Morales. He has his own history, and he brings with him that cultural backstory that doesn't appear forced or contrived simply to appease present day sensibilities. Um, I mean, I never played Marvel's Spider-Man. It just didn't appeal to me at the time. But I did play Miles Morales. I mean, at the time I couldn't quite place my finger on it, but with hindsight, maybe it was because I could subconsciously identify with Miles Morales. He was just more relatable to me, and that's probably why I played and thoroughly enjoyed the sequel in 2020. That was my first introduction to Spider-Man under games developer Insomniac. So the fact that Miles is taking over going forward, I think is exciting and fantastic. I see Miles Morales as new, fresh, vibrant, and is a nice, clean departure away from Peter Parker. They're not going to get rid of Peter Parker. He's still going to be there. I mean, he's most likely going to be in the third one in Spider-Man 3. But for now, I think that Miles Morales is where it is. And this was a fantastic move, if not inevitable move, on the side of Insomniac Games. I'm Numbskull1 Gaming.